She looked like an ordinary teen. But something about Annette Craver felt off after her California trip. Her mother, Mary Rose, noticed the change. What she didn't know was the chilling truth her daughter had married a serial killer, 43-year-old Felix Vale, a manipulator who quickly controlled Annette's life, though Annette, teen, tried to break free. It was too late. She disappeared shortly after the marriage, leaving no trace. Frustrated by police inaction, Mary Rose began her own investigation, a quest that would uncover a serial killer. The story starts September 8th, 1981. Houston, Texas. 15-year-old Annette and Mary Rose held a yard sale, selling items of Annette's late father. Annette, still struggling with her father's death 2 years prior, spent time alone, writing and playing guitar. Mary Rose worried about her solitude and grief, even suggesting therapy. But Annette insisted she was fine. Unbeknownst to Mary, Annette had met a new friend in the city, a charming, much older man. Felix Vale, 40, seemed just another customer at the yard sale. Mary, preoccupied with her inability to find work after her husband's death, didn't see him as a threat. Needing to move for work, Mary Rose found an opportunity in Oklahoma. Annette was close to graduating high school early, so Mary made the difficult decision to temporarily leave her in a friend's care. This decision she would later regret. While Mary was away, Felix's visits to Annette increased. Letters from Annette mentioned Felix, but Mary didn't realize the intimacy. "I regret that I left," Mary Rose said. Annette wrote back, "I felt like you abandoned me." With Mary away, Felix manipulated Annette, convincing her to go on a road trip after graduation. Mary, saving for a house for them, was devastated to learn Annette had left with Felix. "Oh my gosh, why didn't I do this differently?" she lamented. For a year, she tried to contact Annette, receiving only a few letters from different locations. Then, a shocking call. Annette asked for approval to marry Felix in California. Mary Rose, fearing estranging her daughter, reluctantly agreed. Despite reservations about the age difference and the rushed decision, "I don't want to estrange her from me. I trusted her, and I didn't know he was a bad guy." Imagine the agonizing choice Mary Rose faced: approve the marriage and potentially keep contact, or refuse and risk losing her daughter completely. Letters revealed life with Felix became controlling after the wedding. Annette wrote that Felix forced her to have an illegal abortion after she became pregnant. Shocked, Mary Rose urged her to return. Annette eventually found the courage to leave Felix and came back to Mary Rose. Though changed, Mary was overjoyed. But Felix began calling constantly, demanding to talk to Annette. Mary tried to protect her, but weeks later, Felix showed up, walked in, and confronted Annette. Mary Rose tried to intervene, but Felix's hold on Annette was too strong. Mary Rose, feeling forced to leave Annette behind again, renounced her share of their house and moved to California. Soon after, Annette turned 18, accessed her father's inheritance, and allegedly transferred her money and the house deed to Felix. Mary Rose called Felix, but he was evasive. She contacted police with her concerns, but they dismissed her, charmed by Felix. With authorities unwilling to investigate Annette's disappearance, Mary Rose clung to hope. But doubt grew over the years. After 7 years and hundreds of unanswered letters to police and the FBI, Mary Rose had enough. She began her own investigation, accumulating small details about Felix's family. Data was scarce in the early internet days, but she was determined. Her first strong lead was Sue Jordan, Felix's sister. Mary Rose drove halfway across the country to meet her. This led Mary Rose to track down the family of Felix's first wife, Mary Horton Vale. who died in 1962. She located Mary's brother, Will Horton, who was 15 when Mary drowned in the Calcasieu River. Will spoke well of his sister but deeply resented Felix, as did his family. Will Horton shared details of his sister's death. Mary Horton met Felix at college in 1960, married 6 months later, and had a son, Bill Vale. The following year, Felix became controlling, resented having a child, and was enraged when Mary became pregnant again, forcing her to flee with Bill to her parents. Later, according to the official account, Felix and Mary went fishing. She fell overboard, and Felix returned alone to report it. Suspicious from the start. Police noted Felix bypassed closer docks and an ice house to report the drowning. They arrested him. 2 days later, Mary's body was found. Evidence on her body pointed to murder, mouth gagged with a scarf, a large head wound, blood on her sweater sleeves. Yet, the coroner ruled it an accidental drowning, clearing Felix and ending the investigation, devastating Mary Horton's family. "It destroyed my mother," Will said. "It left a hole in me I have still today." Mary Rose, seeing the parallel to her own situation, was enraged by the system's failure. Now she sought justice for both Annette and Mary Horton. Knowing she needed concrete evidence, Mary Rose spoke with Will Horton, who revealed that since 1975, he'd received calls searching for Sharon Hensley, Felix's next girlfriend, who also disappeared mysteriously. Sharon's mother had called for years. When she told me that, my ears perked up. Mary Rose recalled, "Now I've got something to work with." 3 women connected to Felix Vale, 1 dead under suspicious circumstances, 2 vanished. What does this pattern suggest about Felix Vale? Mary Rose traveled again to North Dakota to meet Brian Hensley, Sharon's brother. Brian described Sharon as a free spirit. After Mary Horton's death, Felix became a wandering preacher, heading a personal cult. He met 21-year-old Sharon in California. He was charming, saying what women wanted to hear. They lived transiently, even joining a religious group briefly. But Felix's drug use increased, along with his violent, controlling behavior toward Sharon. Brian believed she stayed out of fear, trapped. Before a planned trip to South America, Sharon visited family, then called her mother to say goodbye. With Felix likely listening, her mother sensed danger in Sharon's voice. "Sharon's in deep trouble. She's crying out for help." The next communication was a letter from Felix claiming Sharon left him for Australia. The Hensleys weren't fooled, but, lacking evidence, filed a missing person report. Police didn't investigate for over a year. Brian found the letter bizarre. Such BS. An old arrest report resurfaced concerning Felix and Sharon, revealing Bill Vale's connection, unbeknownst to Mary Horton's family. Felix took Bill after Mary's death. For years, Bill endured abuse and mistreatment. At 8, he ran away to police, stating, "My daddy's making me smoke marijuana and take LSD, and I want to go home." This led to Felix and Sharon's arrest for child endangerment. Mary Rose visited the adult Bill Vale in Kansas, hoping for clues. Bill was hesitant, fearing Felix, but wanted justice for his mother. He revealed a horrifying secret at 8. He overheard Sharon and Felix. Felix confessed to killing Mary Horton. "I really did kill her." Bill testified against his father in the child endangerment case. Felix and Sharon were released after 3 months. Bill was adopted by grandparents but lived in fear of Felix. 5 years later, Felix visited, without Sharon. At 13, Bill asked, and Felix said Sharon would never bother anyone ever again. Confirming to Bill she was dead, Bill carried this secret, fearing Felix. But Mary Rose's quest for justice echoed his. He wanted closure for his mother, Sharon, and Annette. Though Bill died of cancer in 2009, months before, he recorded his story and Felix's confession for his preacher, wanting the truth to come out here for the victims. He knew what he had heard, and he never wavered on that. After decades, Mary Rose felt she had a case. No physical evidence, but testimonies, Horton's, Hensley's, her own. Bill's recording. She believed it could reopen cases. She presented it to the FBI. An agent agreed. "We are dealing with a serial killer," but the agent was laid off due to budget cuts. The cold case department affected. Mary Rose was back to square one, a big letdown. Feeling shame for getting families' hopes up, she remained consumed with the burning desire to get this guy. Almost 30 years after Annette's disappearance, in June 2011, Mary Rose heard on the radio about Jerry Mitchell, a reporter who solved notorious cold cases like the Mississippi burning murders. "This man is not afraid of cold cases. I need to contact him," she called, asking if he'd be interested in a serial killer living free in Mississippi. He was, she explained the complex case. Learning Felix moved back to Mississippi, she told Mitchell she was going to confront him. Surprised, Mitchell said, "I'll go with you." They drove to a remote trailer park in Mississippi, next to a burnt-down house. Mitchell felt suspicious. Was Felix watching Mary Rose, 64, was fearless. The back window of the burnt house was missing. She crawled inside, camera in hand. "You don't worry about the risks. I just wanted to know the truth." Inside, she found religious texts and many weapons. Throwing out machete after machete, Mitchell was stunned. Emerging, they saw someone running. Kay Faulkner, Felix's sister, living nearby. Initially annoyed, her look changed as they explained. She admitted, "Oh yeah, I think he killed these women." Mitchell, surprised by the immediate breakthrough, acted fast. He listened to Bill's tape, interviewed the families and Mary Rose, and began writing. 4 years later, his book, Gone, detailing the investigation, came out to acclaim, leading to the FBI reopening cases. Mary Rose celebrated. "I danced." Her brother said, "That's not good news. That's fabulous news." The breakthrough came decades later, through unexpected allies and sheer persistence. What does this case teach us about the passage of time in cold cases? The FBI focused on Mary Horton-Vale's case, the only one with a confirmed death, despite the accidental drowning ruling and lost evidence from 50 years prior. A prosecutor took the case. They searched Vale's property, finding his journals almost 500 pages, detailing control and drinking raw blood. But no murder confessions. They found 90-year-old Ike Abshire, a key witness from the 1962 body recovery, who coincidentally had lost photos of the event. These photos and Abshire's testimony, describing the recovery, were crucial evidence. Abshire was the key. Just months after testifying, he died. In 2016, after only 10 minutes of deliberation, Felix Vale was convicted of Mary Horton's murder and sentenced to life. Mary Rose, Will Horton, and Brian Hensley, holding hand, felt immense relief. It just felt so good. Finally, mission accomplished. While Annette and Sharon's disappearances remained unsolved in court, the conviction brought justice for Mary Horton and closure for some families. Mary Rose's primary goal was seeing him convicted of murder and imprisoned for life. For one or all women, he would never get out. For Sharon's brother Brian, the conviction allowed him to have a memorial service, fulfilling a promise to his mother. But for Mary Rose, true closure was elusive. "I haven't found Annette's body," There's always going to be a piece of me that my heart is always going to be broken. To cope, she writes letters to Annette, talking to her, processing grief, seeking forgiveness for past decisions. She writes of the pain, the restless nights, the sadness that her choices might have made a difference, the tears, suppressed for years fighting for justice, finally flow, heavy and deep and old. It's okay to weep and feel sad. She writes, Mary Rose's enduring story is one of a mother's relentless love. Decades of investigation, unexpected alliances, and the difficult, ongoing process of finding peace after profound loss and a hard-won fight for justice against a serial killer.